Got a sensor that fails diagnostics and you think it might be broken? Today, I'm going to show you how to use a multimeter to help make that determination. I'm Mike Beckage, co-founder of DTS, and this video is intended to give you some helpful hints for troubleshooting sensor problems. What do you do if you can't make sensor diagnostic readings pass? You might feel like you've tried everything in terms of putting the correct settings into the software, but you still get a diagnostic failure. Well, when this happens, experience has shown that the vast majority of failures like this are caused by a sensor problem and not the DAS. Today we're going to figure out how to use a multimeter to check a sensor on the bench. First, let's review some of the sensor diagnostic features available in all DTS systems and software. And the goal is, of course, to find sensor problems before you run a test. Some of the things we check when performing sensor diagnostics include excitation voltage checks. This check is designed to find out if you've got a shorted sensor or cable. Next, we do a noise check, which basically confirms that you've got good cabling and good grounding by indicating a low noise level. Third, we have sensor offset checks. This is a very basic check that indicates whether or not the sensor is functioning in its normal voltage range. And finally, whenever possible, we recommend doing the shunt check feature in the software because this is a cross-check of the gain, the sensor is connected in the proper place, the impedance or the resistance of the bridge is correct, and it really proves that a lot of things are working well. Okay, so you've done your best to input the correct settings in the software. And when you run diagnostics, you still get a failure that you can't resolve. Maybe it's time to check the sensor on the bench with a multimeter independently from the DAS. All you need is a low-cost digital multimeter, or DMM, and a way to probe the sensor connections. If you have a lot of sensors in your inventory, I would recommend that you have a breakout terminal that fits the connectors on your sensors to make the job easy. Now let's check some actual sensors. Over here I have a common piezoresistive accelerometer, which is comprised of a Wheatstone bridge sensing element. That means it has 4 wires, a red and a black, which is plus and minus excitation, and a green and a white, which is plus and minus signal, and of course a shield, which is used for keeping noise out of the signals. The last time I used this sensor, it was working fine, so I don't really expect to find a problem, but I'm going to check the sensor as an example of what you should expect in a working sensor. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my multimeter set to the ohm scale, in this case 2000 ohms full scale, and I'm going to see what resistance I get between the plus and minus excitation. And I'm seeing 864 ohms. This is pretty typical for this type of sensor. Now, one of the things I want to try to do with my measurements here is to isolate whether or not there's an inconsistency or an imbalance in the sensor bridge. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure between the plus excitation and the plus signal and see what I get. And I see 474 ohms. And then I'm going to make the same measurement between the plus signal and the minus excitation, and I get 474 ohms again. That means that the plus signal side of the bridge is balanced. Now I'm going to do the same test between the minus excitation and the minus signal and see what I get. I'm expecting a different number, and that's fine. I see 690 ohms. Okay, now I'm going to move over to the plus excitation, so I'm looking at the other half of the bridge, and I see 692 ohms, which is very close to the reading I got when I went to the minus excitation. This tells me that the minus signal side of the bridge is also balanced, and it actually is consistent with the fact that this sensor worked the last time I used it. Over here, I have a sensor that failed the diagnostics the last time I tried to use it. Specifically, it failed the offset check with a very large number that was out of tolerance, and it really miserably failed the shunt check. And so made me think maybe there's something wrong with the sensor. But an easy way to verify that is to run these tests with the multimeter on the bench. I'm going to run the same checks that I did on the sensor that I know is functioning. Specifically, I'm going to look at the resistance between the minus and plus excitation, and I get a number of 1012 ohms. Now that's different than the other sensor, but in and of itself, that's not a problem because sensor impedances and bridge resistances vary. So that could be normal. The next thing I'm going to do, just like I did before with the other sensor, is I'm going to check the resistance between the minus excitation and the plus signal, and I get a number of 511 ohms. That looks pretty reasonable. And then I'm going to go to the plus excitation, and I see, if I can get the clip on correctly here, I get exactly 511 ohms. So that tells me the plus signal side of the bridge is balanced, and that's not likely a problem. Now I'm going to move over and check the minus signal side by going between the plus excitation and the minus signal. And I get an open circuit. And I'm going to turn the range up on the multimeter to 20,000 ohms full scale to see if I can get a reading at all. And I get a very high reading of 6.3 kiloohms. Okay, that immediately sounds much different than what I saw before. Now I'm going to measure between the minus excitation and the minus signal to see what I get. And I'm expecting a number close to 6.3 kiloohms if the bridge is balanced, but I get a number of 5.3. This is very different than the 6.3 kiloohms and indicates a large imbalance in this half of the bridge. This is very likely the cause of the offset and shunt failure. Another thing I note is that the resistance reading is much higher when I go between the signal leads and the excitation leads that I did on the working sensor. And so to me, that's another clue that the sensor has been damaged or otherwise compromised. Based on the fact that the diagnostic readings we just took with the multimeter indicate an imbalance in the bridge of this sensor, and it failed the diagnostics checks in the software, it's pretty safe to conclude that this sensor is broken and needs to be replaced. It's important to note that if you have a suspected bad sensor, you should check the sensor manufacturer's data sheet and any available calibration reports. Those documents often contain information about the expected resistances that you should find on the bridge or the sensor output. If you compare those numbers to the measurements that you take with the multimeter, that might also help seal the deal that you do or do not have a bad sensor. I've given you some basic tools for checking sensors with a multimeter. Now, sensor designs vary a lot, but the basic principles apply very broadly. We have lots of additional information on our website and help center, so take a look and please let us know if you need help. Happy testing!